In this video, I'm going to react to the 10 best states in the USA. To another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now, I've really wanted to watch a video like this for a while, just because, as someone who, quite a young person, the thought of maybe living in the States one day has, crossed my mind. I've got quite a few family members of mine, like in my extended family, who live in the States, and I've been there a few times, and there's a lot of pluses about living in America. And but I've always wondered what would be the top states to live in. And obviously a question like this is really hard to answer because there's so many different parameters, so many variables, so many different things that one person may consider that another person might not consider. So this is going to be interesting to see how the creator of this video kind of averages everything out and kind of finds the sort of core fundamental things that most people would look for in a state, which would place it, high on a list like this. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's go. This is going to be me reacting to the 10 best states in America. Let's do it.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the World According to Briggs. It is time to take a look at the best states to live in for 2021. We did the worst states last week, and now it's time to take a look at the other side of that coin, the best states. This year we looked at the states and how they ranked 1st to 50th in the most important categories to the average person: crime rate per capita, the economy, which includes unemployment and poverty, healthcare, and education. You add up
That's a solid list of criteria.
all four of their rankings, and the lower the number, the better. Example, if a state is ranked 1st in crime, 2nd in healthcare, 5th in economy, and 10th in education, they would have a total score of 18. Simple. The absolute worst case scenario is if you were in last place for every single one, you would get 50 across the board and have a score of 200. In the worst states, some of them were in the 160s. So these are pretty good in this one. Now, to be fair, all states, all cities, all towns, all neighborhoods have their good and their bad. We're just focusing on the positive stats that people care about when they're looking for a new place to live. Here's a perfect example. Vermont is on this list. It's a great state, but it's also very cold and very expensive in some places. But in the most important stats, to the average person, like crime, economy, healthcare, and schools, it's a great state. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's see what we found. Number 10, Maryland. We don't talk much about Maryland on this channel. They normally don't come up unless we're talking about crime, stats, and then Baltimore's involved. Most people not from the area don't realize that Maryland isn't just Baltimore. Most people, they think is the whole state. It's really weird. Sure, if you're from that area, you don't think that way. Talk to someone from Nevada, and all they know is Baltimore's in Maryland. Once you get to the eastern region near like Delaware, it gets beautiful and rural in a hurry. Great small towns are dotted all around that part of the state. You also have some mountains in the northwest part of the state, which are beautiful. Statistically, they are outstanding if you take Baltimore out of the equation, at least now. I think Baltimore was starting to show signs of a turnaround before the pandemic with tech jobs and wage growth. They were doing pretty good. We'll see how that pans out in the future. Maryland is ranked 22nd in crime, 26th in economy, 8th in healthcare, 13th in education. That's not bad. Those are good numbers. That gives them a total of 69.
Okay. All right.
Number 9, Minnesota. Minnesota's been in the news more than enough in the last year or so because of some bad things that have gone on there. For the most part, all that...
Let me know if I'm wrong, but I believe Brock Lesnar is from Minnesota. I could be wrong about that.
Bad press has been going on in one place, Minneapolis. This has detracted from the fact that Minnesota is really a great state. Sure, your hands could get stuck to your steering wheel in December, and you can get some impressive snot icicles in January. Still a nice state. It's just very cold parts of the year. But statistically and in quality of life, Minnesota's a great place to live, especially if you like water in the form of ponds, rivers, creeks, and lakes. They got them everywhere. Give them a look. It also helps if you like the Minnesota Vikings and the color purple. That helps a lot too. They are ranked 16th in crime, 18th in economy, 10th in healthcare, and 17th in education, giving them a whopping score of 61.
Pretty good.
Number 8, Virginia. Virginia is over 400 years old, sort of. In 1788, they became the 10th state, but if you go back to their original colony, which was Jamestown, it was founded in the early 1600s. So yeah, they're over 400 years old. Virginia has some history, great cities, and great landscapes. Now, I'm a big fan of the Newport News area. They have great beaches, interesting small towns all around that area. It's definitely worth the visit. And if you do visit any place in Virginia, there's going to be a festival whatever weekend you're there. They have every type of festival you'd want. Food, drink, culture, holiday, or even just small town celebration.
Sounds like my kind of place, to be honest.
Every weekend during non-pandemic days has some sort of festival in Virginia. Several, probably. So you're not too far from one if you're just there to visit. Living there, you'll know all about them, and you'll love it. They are ranked 9th in crime, which is great, 25th in economy, 18th in health, and 7th in education, giving them a total score of 59.
So for crime and education, it seems that they were really, really good. That's the highest thus far, I believe.
Number 7, Colorado. We talk about Colorado a lot on this channel. I love Colorado, and so do a lot of people according to the migration stats. Colorado has been consistently one of the most popular states for decades, long before John Denver started wailing about the place. Most anyone moving to Colorado is going to be heading to the west side of the state, with Denver, Boulder, Colorado Springs, then into the mountains, you got the Rocky Mountains with Aspen and all those other places. The eastern third...
Let me know, but is Pikes Peak the mountain? I believe that's in Denver, Colorado. Let me know. I think I might be wrong about that, but let me know.
The state is basically Kansas without as much farming. But they do have an ample amount of mind-numbing boredom on that side of the state. Yeah, I've been through there quite a few times. It is nothing. There's nothing going on there. Jackrabbits and the occasional deer. That is it. And a lot of dirt. Colorado ranks 29th in crime, 1st in economy, bravo Colorado, 12th in healthcare, and 11th in education. Those are not bad numbers. It gives them a total of 53. Number 6, Vermont. If you ever have a chance to drive through or take the Amtrak through the rural parts of Vermont, I would advise it. I wouldn't say life-changing.
Wow, it looks beautiful. Look at all of the wildlife. Sorry, look at all of the nature around.
But it's just so nice. If you take the train, it's called the Vermonter, even though about a third of the trip goes through New Hampshire. It follows the Connecticut River, which is the border between Vermont and New Hampshire, and it's amazing. It's like a backdrop of a romance novel. Vermont is a great state if you don't like crowds, traffic, or bad air quality. They really don't have any of those. And if you're about to say they have traffic, stop typing. If that's what you think, that Vermont has traffic, I invite you to leave that small town you live in Vermont and experience the world, Skippy, because Vermont does not have traffic. Someone tried to tell me that one time. I asked like 5 other people, I'm all, does Vermont have traffic? Have I missed something in my visits? And they're all, no, we have no traffic, unless there's construction. Anyway, Vermont ranks 2nd in crime. They have decent people there and not a lot of bad things going on, and that proves it right there. Crime is ranked 2nd in the nation. The economy is 29th, healthcare is 11th, and 8th in education. Vermont is a great state, and they get a score of 50.
Pretty good. Well done, Vermont.
Number 5, New Jersey. Now, I fell out of my chair when I realized the Garden State actually made a best state list. I mean, New Jersey is normally just associated with things like high taxes, Superfund sites, spray tan, excessive use of hair products, and The Sopranos. But here they are.
I was just about to say The Sopranos. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini.
Knocking it out of the park with solid stats. I'm so proud of them. But in reality, I've never been a big fan of New Jersey. Other than my friend Renee, the state, I don't know, I just don't like it. Oddly, it is one of the most moved out of states because of taxes and high cost of living. The good news is, if you move here, those taxes and cost of living might be worth it. They rank the 6th lowest crime rate in the nation. 31st in economy, 6th in healthcare, and they have the 2nd best education system in the nation, giving New Jersey a total score of 45. Yeah, everybody close your mouth. It's an odd one.
Well done.
Number 4, New Hampshire. Remember all that stuff I said about Vermont? Well, this is a copy-paste situation with New Hampshire. They're just a little better statistically. I mean, these states are right next to each other, and unless you're from that area, you probably never know you went into the other state. They're very similar. New Hampshire is the best in the country when it comes to the lowest crime rate. They're number 1. First place for New Hampshire. I guess people just don't like committing crimes there. They're 13th in economy, 16th in healthcare, and 5th in education. Those are great numbers. Their total score? 35. Good job, New Hampshire.
I have to say that I'm, quite impressed so far. Obviously, this list is the top 10 states, so you would expect the standard to be high. But, you know, some of these statistics that I'm seeing, you know, just the extreme low crime rate, especially in this, you know, climate that we're living in where it seems like crime is going up. These look like some really good places to live.
Number 3, Utah. The Beehive State always seems to show up on best of lists. Park City, mountain biking, national parks, hiking, Lake Powell. There's a lot to do and a lot to love in Utah. They even have the Sundance Film Festival. The people are decent, they have jobs, and home ownership isn't terribly expensive in nice neighborhoods. The
Sundance is a great festival. That's where I watch, find what films to watch.
If you like the outdoors, the stats might not even matter to you because you're probably already sold on Utah. But I'll give you the stats anyway. They're the 12th lowest crime rate, have the 2nd best economy, 9th in healthcare, and 10th in education, which shocks me because Utah's kind of known for their education, and I thought they'd be lower. But they're 10th. That's respectable. I just thought they'd be in the top 5.
Okay, we're getting to the
Number
big boys.
2, Washington. The Evergreen State comes in at number 2. Bravo. And right now, there's a bunch of people pounding out their objections to this one. I'll tell you in advance, these are how they're ranked by the numbers. The ranking isn't my opinion. I just didn't put these where I wanted. They're going by the numbers. I say that because there's a certain portion of the viewership here, subscribers, whatever, that can't handle it when anything on the West Coast, city or state, is doing good or shines in any kind of manner. The fact is, Washington is a great place to live. It gets some weather some might not like, and then Seattle has its problems that need some work. But really, they have a great state that is very attractive to people looking for a new home, or Bigfoot for that matter. Yeah, really, Bigfoot. They got a whole bunch of guys that are all over the woods looking for Bigfoot in Washington. Out there hiking in the woods, carrying a bunch of equipment around, all in search of this mythical creature.
Really?
Bigfoot.
Really?
Hey, at least they're getting some exercise, right? But Washington is a great state. That Seattle, you know, it has its issues, and that's their biggest problem, is Seattle's got some crime issues. It's extremely expensive. They got a serious homeless situation going on up there. If they could clean up Seattle, they could easily be the best state in the nation right now. But currently, they are 15th in crime, 3rd in economy, 4th in healthcare, and 4th in education. Those aren't bad numbers, and they are number 2.
All right,
Before we get to number 1, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And here's a little bonus for you. People always ask, what was number 11? Well, I'm going to give you number 11 and number 12 today. Number 11 would have been Nebraska at 74, and Wisconsin at 80 would have been number 12. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Massachusetts. If you live in Massachusetts, you probably saw this one coming. Maybe not if you're from Boston. They always seem pissy about everything. It's like if you're from Boston, you hate everything. I don't know what that's all about. Now, I know some nice people from Boston, but it just seems like they always got an axe to grind with something. It's weird. Massachusetts residents enjoy amazing summers and colorful autumns, like most of New England. The winters here are a different type of harsh some years, but it's still nice that you're getting snow and not rain like, say, in Seattle or Portland. Snow sometimes can be miserable, but there's still some fun to be had in snow. What do you do with rain? I mean, rain sucks, and there's nothing fun to do in the rain. Snow's just a little bit better sometimes. If you like seafood, sports, history, adorable small towns, and low-price car insurance, Massachusetts might be for you. I actually came across that stat that showed Massachusetts was one of the 10th lowest states for car insurance is in price, which kind of shocked me because when you think of, you know, Massachusetts, you think of Boston, some of the other places that have kind of a high cost of living. You think insurance would be right in step with that. Nah, they're in the top.
Yeah, that's what I would have assumed. I would have assumed Boston would be really expensive.
10 lowest. I'd give you an exact number, but I found like 5 different stats with 5 different places, all in the top 10. The Bay State has some of the best universities in the nation, and all of their other schools, high school, grade school, whatever, are top notch as well. With those universities come great health care. Not just the university hospitals, but all their hospitals are great. I'm sure they got some that suck, but no, majority of them are just great hospitals. They rank 4th in crime, 7th in economy, 2nd in healthcare, and Massachusetts is number 1 in education. That gives them a total score of 14. That's great. I mean, number 2 was 26.
I believe Harvard. Is Harvard in Massachusetts? Let me know if that's
Yeah,
wrong.
14. So there you have it. Massachusetts is your number 1 state for 2021. Now, obviously, some of you are going to say, well, this is too expensive, that's too expensive. You're going to have different things like that to say, but going by the 4 stats that we use, the most important to people when they're looking for a new place to live, these are your 10 best states for 2021. All right.
Yeah, that was really, really interesting. I have to say, I was probably surprised. I would have thought maybe this is, me being a British guy, not knowing much about what's going on in the States, but I would have thought places like New York, maybe New York City, maybe California would be, up there in these lists. But I would imagine that maybe certain things really drag down the averages of those states. Yeah, I was surprised not to see New York City there, but really that was a lot of food for thought. So Boston is the number 1 state according to the parameters set in this video. Really, really interesting. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.